Juice, sports, insight, and great storytelling. Starring Bobby Carpenter and Jeff Tito Thitoff. It's time to attack and dominate.
Whoa, you're coming in hot. Oh, baby, I'm coming in hot. Good morning, Austin.
Great to see you.
Just,
we had a lot of time to catch up before the show.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
You got to tell people what happened here.
My alarm didn't go off. I woke up at 5:43.
And it is now 6 a.m.
Yes.
That's a pretty good turnaround.
Not bad. I'm going to tell you right now, it's just a good thing for me that local law enforcement was not out in full force. Because it could have ended poorly for me if that would have been the case. But
pushing the envelope?
Oh, boy.
Flip on that NOS?
There was a light that didn't really look like it was a shade of red. Or shade of green, I'm sorry, but I still pummeled through that one. So, big show lineup for you today. Now that we got it going here. We will have, we're going to be obviously very NCAA bracket heavy. We're going to have Bill Bender on at 6:20. We are going to have 10 TV's Jacob Reimer on after that. I don't know if you noticed that or not, Bodie, the show sheet, though. Yeah, we're doing the quick hitters start the 7 o'clock hour because, look, Reimer, I'm not sure his reason. We'll get into that, though, why he couldn't do 7, had to do 6:40, but we'll figure that out. And all the other
that head's getting a little too big.
Look, I'm not going to say it publicly until he's on the air because I don't want to out him, but I will out him later. By the way, Ohio State gets an 8 seed in the bracket. They're taking on TCU on Thursday at noon. Mavs beat the Cavs 130-120. Cleveland has a 3-game road trip starting off in Milwaukee tomorrow night. Women get a 3 seed. They will be hosting, which is good to hear. In all likelihood, it'll be on Saturday, and then Monday will be probably Ohio State and Notre Dame, a 6 seed. That'll be a lot of fun for you, Bodie. I'm sure you'll be out there. And then the Jackets host the Hurricanes on Tuesday. USA advances in the World Baseball Classic. Did either of you watch any of that?
No, not a chance.
Bodie?
No. I would have, but I knew I wasn't going to see the ending.
Right.
8 o'clock, first pitch. That's tough.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
That's tough on a Sunday night. So, I'll probably catch a little bit of tomorrow night's. Yeah, tomorrow night. I'm trying to think of the days here. Yeah, tomorrow night's championship game.
Yeah.
I'll catch a few innings before bed.
Shark watched it, but he was rooting for the Dominican Republic, as Sharks normally would do. So, Morning Juice sponsored by Riverside Bank in Dublin. 2 full hours here on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, the Fan app, HD3. Download the show anytime and catch us from 10 a.m. to noon on 10 TV Plus. I didn't say it before. Austin Ward is joining us here. Carp is off all week. Is this your lone appearance with us?
It is my only trip down to the studio for a show this week because I'm heading out to take advantage of spring break with the girls tomorrow.
Disney again?
That's right.
That's it.
Yeah. We're very predictable.
I was going to say, yeah, it's very predictable on that one. But yeah, it should be fun, though. It's I know that it's been a long time since I've been there. It's been probably 20 years since I've been there. So.
Well, it's constantly changing. It's Walt's vision,
Yes.
Walt Disney is never going to be finished.
He's never going to be finished, and he's given all kinds of ideas from that frozen head of his. All right, Bodie, you are tasked with this week. Today in history, let's do it. Oh, it's saying I can't play it, Bodie. Hang on. It's saying close. Hang on. Try it again.
I can play it if you need me to.
You may have to get an error over here.
Signed in, so
well, give me a second. No, I bet I'll get it before you.
You're off.
Let's see. Let's have a little challenge here. Hang on now. We're going to do a little challenge here. See if I can get there before you.
I'm ready. So.
Well, now if you want me to do it, though, I'll do it.
Go.
It was a tie.
Time to get smarter. Morning Juice presents Today in History. Here's your professor, Bobby Carpenter.
Wells.
All right, guys. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday, indeed.
Worst day of the week. But nevertheless, we'll power on. March 16th, 2026. It is the 75th day of the year. Orlando Pace. That sounds right, doesn't it?
Was he 71?
I said 75.
Oh, 75. Sorry, yeah, he was 75. Yes.
Okay, there you go. 290 days left until 2027. Starting with some events all the way back in 1521. Portuguese navigator Ferdinand Magellan reaches the Philippines. That's where he would end his journey there. He would die there in the Philippines and no longer make it. But hey,
it's called it good there.
Heck of a run.
Yes.
Jumping ahead to 1802, the United States Military Academy at West Point is established. In 1850, about 50 years later, Nathaniel Hawthorne's The Scarlet Letter is published. In 1926, Robert H. Goddard successfully launches the world's first liquid-fueled rocket at Auburn, Massachusetts. Who knew that Auburn was also in Massachusetts along with Alabama? So There you go. There, good job out of Robert on that one. Not very fun news on this one, frankly. Speaking of big days for Shark, 1935, Adolf Hitler orders Germany to rearm itself in violation of the Treaty of Versailles, and of course, a few years later, they'd head into Poland, and
Yeah.
bunch of stuff happened there. But good news, on this day in 1945, the United States Marines capture the Japanese island of Iwo Jima during the Second World War. As we month and change from when the war ended in Europe, and then still got a handful of months until things came to an end over there in the Pacific. A little bit of music here. In 1965, the Rolling Stones tops the UK singles chart for the third time with this song right here, The Last Time.
Last time. Dear Bodie, this could be the last time.
I don't know. Some more music in 1968, just a few years later. Otis Redding, Sitting on the Dock of the Bay, becomes the first posthumous single to top the Billboard Hot 100 charts.
I'm sitting on the dock of the bay, watching the tide roll away. Ooh, I'm just sitting on the dock of...
And then a couple more events here. In 1994, one of the finest figure skaters in American history, Tanya Harding, she pleads guilty to the felony attack on her former Olympic teammate,
Define
Nancy
finest.
Kerrigan. Well, listen, it's, they say all publicity is good publicity.
That's what I say.
Most aggressive.
Yeah, hey, you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. That's what they say. And then last one here. I don't know if this is significant, but I saw it, and it made me laugh, so I decided to throw it in here. Because on this day, I can't believe this movie came out in 2012. Hard to believe it's been 14 years ago. But 21 Jump Street, starring Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill, among others, is released into theaters.
The department was forced to drop the charges because you forgot to read him his Miranda rights. What possible reason is there for not doing the only thing you have to do when arresting someone?
I did read him his right. I did a version of that.
Do you even know the Miranda rights?
Yes.
Let's hear them then.
Okay. Look, it obviously starts with you have the right to remain silent. I know you've heard this before, and then I think it sounds something like. Well, the thing. Right. You have the right to remain an attorney.
Did you say that you have the right to be an attorney?
You do have the right to be an attorney if you want to.
There are other, maybe slightly more funny scenes from that film, but
Can't play them on the
can't
radio.
play 'em.
Yeah.
Be too many bleeps. And
Bodie, are you a
whatnot,
one-strapper or a two-strapper?
I don't remember that reference, to be honest with you. Oh, yes. Okay, there we go. Yep. You know what? That was one of the scenes I was going to play.
Yeah.
But there's some, it's not like cursing, but some other words that just, you can't, unfortunately.
I've got a crow.
I punched him, and then he turned out to be that way. Some birthdays, guys, all the way back. How about this one? In 1751, the fourth president of the United States of America and the father of the Constitution, one of the founding fathers of this great country. That'd be James Madison. He was born on this date all the way back in 1751.
Loves football.
Oh, yeah, big football fan.
Yeah,
Big
you're
Jeremiah
right.
Love fan, I think,
Yes.
number 4, right? No longer with us, sadly, but nevertheless. And then some birthdays with a bunch of people who are still with us, fortunately. Flavor Flav.
Flavor
turning
Flav!
67 years old today.
I think Flavor Flav could be a real role model for you, Tito, just wearing around an alarm clock
yes.
all day.
That'd be great. Flavor, Public Enemy, one of the influential rap groups in my life. They made me start to hate white people. That's how effective they were.
Got the message
I
across.
questioned a lot of things after I started listening to Flavor Flav and Public Enemy.
You know what?
There you go.
You're right, Flav.
Yes. NWA, Public
Got a pretty
Enemy,
good point here now that I think about
X
it.
Clan, they all were like, hey, you know what? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Fight the power.
Yes.
Actress Lauren Graham turns 59 years old today. Probably most famous for her role as the mom in Gilmore Girls. Never seen an episode, just familiar with the show. Actress.
She's most famous for Bad Santa for me.
Okay, there you go. I haven't seen that one either, but I'll add it to the list. Probably not a family-friendly movie from what I know of that movie.
Look, if you got Billy Bob Thornton playing Santa, I'm guessing it's not the same as Kurt Russell doing it.
Yeah. Speaking of Kurt Russell, Austin, just tune in tomorrow morning. Big birthday for Coach Brooks.
Just gonna play the whole movie.
Yes,
we're not gonna play it. We're gonna recite it.
Yeah, that's right.
I'll be playing Herb. Thitoff will do the players. And
tomorrow's the day I could have slept in because that first segment's gonna be 30 minutes of just movie clips.
That's great.
Listen, it's 1 out of 365.
I actually could have been in tomorrow. I wasn't invited.
You weren't invited.
Yeah.
No, you're leaving tomorrow, right?
No, I don't leave till the afternoon, and I made that known.
Oh wow, that's
well.
Scheduling,
big deal.
Get on top of that for sure.
I'm sure.
That's New Year's resolution.
Yes.
2.5 months in. Another actress here, Alexandra Daddario, turning 40 years old today. Still looks fantastic, to be honest with you. Played a pretty great role in Woody Harrelson and McConaughey.
True
Detective, yeah.
It really put that show on the map.
Probably her best role, among others. Some baseball.
Why is that, Bodie?
Just, she played a great.
Really leaned into the character?
Mistress.
Yeah.
I mean, look, let's call it what it is.
Yeah.
Some continuing with birthdays in the baseball world, Blue Jays first baseman and designated hitter Vlad Guerrero Jr. turns 27 years old today.
Watch his foot tap. That's the timing of when he's on time. He gets that short toe down and gone. Goodbye! Vlad Jr. strikes again. Warman for the 19th and Yamamoto. There's a fly ball to deep left center field. Headed back there. It is gone. Vlad Jr. gives the Jays the lead. The franchise face putting the team on his back.
So close to knocking off the Dodgers there last October in the World Series. A couple basketball birthdays here. The 7-time All-Star, 2023 MVP winner. And, if second-round exits were they handed out rings, he'd be Michael Jordan because Joel Embiid turns 32 years old today. Winless against the Celtics in the NBA playoffs there for him. But, hey, maybe next year.
I doubt it.
I doubt that one, too. I'm going to say probably no.
The 5-time All-NBA member, 2011 dunk contest champion, the man who turned the LA Clippers into Lob City. Unfortunately, couldn't get them over the hump either, but he was very fun to watch back in his day. Blake Griffin turns 37 years old today.
3 starters. Oh, what a move. What a spin and what a dunk. Woo. You put that on the reel. Foy left wide open. Griffin, oh, wow. Incredible rebound put back. It's a physical game. Oh, me, oh, my. A monster jam by Blake Griffin. Oh, what a play by Blake.
Unfortunately, his knees went on him a little too soon, and he had a nice little run there in Detroit for a minute, but his athleticism, once that kind of was taken away from him, unfortunately. Like a lot of guys, his career just kind of tailed off, and even at 37, like he's still pretty young. Basketball guys will play until they're 37, but he's kind of been out of the league a couple years now, and I think he's working on
every commercial
Amazon,
that you see.
That too, yeah, definitely that.
That's for sure, Austin.
And then I believe it's Amazon Prime, if I'm not mistaken. There, doing some pre-post and halftime shows and whatnot for them. One more birthday, the All-American, the All-Pro safety, number 14 on the field, Thitoff, but number 1 in our hearts, Baltimore Ravens safety, former Golden Domer Kyle Hamilton, turning 25 years old today.
6 DBs on
so shocked you found sound for Kyle Hamilton.
Intercepted. It's the freshman Kyle Hamilton in the end zone.
Can get 2 clips for one.
Touchdown Notre Dame.
Tito, you think there are a lot of shows across the country celebrating Kyle Hamilton's birthday?
He finds the ball.
I don't think they're doing the South Bend right now. They just 2 clips. Here we go. Do it be multiple clips.
Snap around the edge and a stop as Milton Wright tried to get there, and Kyle Hamilton said no.
President dies, nothing.
What a player.
Kyle Hamilton's birthday, let's play 2.
Wow.
Ernie Banks over there.
Listen.
Yeah.
They should. And then a couple passings on this date here. A very sad one, passing away from brain cancer. just at the age of 24 years old. Back in 1970, the singer Tammy Terrell, passing away, like I said, 24 years old back on this date in 1970.
Just call my name, I'll be there in a hurry. You don't have to worry, 'cause baby, there ain't no mountain high enough, ain't no valley low enough.
Ain't no river wide enough.
That's true also there, Bodie.
Very catchy tune there on that one.
The choreography from Tito, that's a new one.
It was new. You didn't see it, Bodie. You were busy paying. I did that.
I saw you.
High enough,
At
then low
peripheral
enough.
division.
I'm sorry.
He's not allowed to sing anymore, Austin.
Well, I didn't want to
Poor
sing that
Bobby.
one.
I don't know.
I would.
I don't know
still
about
sing.
that. He was singing to the Rolling Stones.
I did
first.
sing the Rolling Stones, yeah.
I don't know how long that band was supposed to last, but it's over now.
Yes, it's over now.
And then one more
Pessimistic on their part.
One more passing a decade ago on this date, Frank Sinatra Jr. passing away at the age of 72 years old. I got a few holidays and observances today. How about this one, Tito? National Everything You Do Is Right Day. So,
Oh, wow.
there you go.
Oh, I bet I could challenge that one right
Even
there.
the alarm clock not going off was
Hold my
correct,
beer.
depending on how you look at
So
it.
you weren't breaking the law on the roads.
That's
Everything
true.
you do
That's
is
true.
right.
Yeah. There you
That would
go.
have been a great argument in court, too, I'm sure. I have a right to be an attorney.
Did you say you have the right to remain an attorney? Well,
Well, you do.
You
have
do.
the right to be an attorney.
National Panda Day. Celebrate
course.
that one there. And
Naturally.
then National Freedom of Information Day.
Oh, boy. Get those FOIAs
So,
filed.
There you go. That's what I got for you guys. March 16th, 75th day of the year. Just 290 days left until 2027.
Well done, as always, Bodie. To Ohio State's women, I did not say their opponent. They play Howard, not the person in the school, at 11:30 a.m. on Saturday,
Not
followed by Notre Dame and Fairfield at roughly 2 o'clock.
There was a team that made the men's tournament that I had never heard of before in my entire life. I can't remember who it was.
Was it
It was one of the.
Queens?
Yes, it was.
Queens?
Yep, there you go. I was like, Queen, like the city, they have an entire college. That's amazing. So,
If I'm not mistaken,
Good for
though,
them.
I don't believe Queens is in New York.
Sure.
why not?
I think that they are. Let me see if I can find them here now. I'm trying to think. I'm looking at the bracket. I'm trying to find them on the bracket. Who were they playing? Do you
They
remember?
were a 15 seed. I know that
15
much.
seed. Okay, that helps out there. Okay,
Queens
Purdue. They're playing
University
Purdue.
Royals.
Okay,
Where are
Queens.
they located?
I think there's a Queens
You are
college,
correct.
but
They
there's
are. Well, it says Queens University of Charlotte, so I
Yeah.
assume they're down there in the Carolina,
Yeah.
North Carolina. Yeah, you're right on that.
which is
Good job,
was shocking
Tito.
to me.
The
Yeah, well,
hotbed of hoops.
They joined the
Don't sleep on my
NCAA
knowledge.
D1 ASUN. What's the ASUN?
Atlantic Sun,
Atlantic
yeah.
Sun.
And on July 1st of 2022. So just 4 years in, not
Yeah.
even a full 4 years into the tournament. And hey, if there was a team to try to get,
Oh yes,
they are kind of red hot right now over their run in Chicago over the weekend. But Purdue has been susceptible to major upsets this time of year.
Yes, they
This
have.
is when
been.
you want them. You
This is
want to
when-
see Purdue
yes.
in March.
Were you guys surprised that Ohio State was an 8? Or is that about where you thought they'd be 8-9?
Unfortunately, they played too well to not be an 8 down the stretch.
I wanted to be a 10 or 7. Yeah.
I know that we were joking with Ohio State basketball SID Gary Pettit last week at the start of, he was down in the Woody at the start of football practice, and he's like, kind of just had a conversation with Coach Diebler about it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world if we just play a competitive game and then come home on Thursday. Maybe you slide down a seed or two. And Jake D was like, yeah, well, thanks for bringing that up. I'm not going to go tell these guys to not try and beat Iowa or not try and win the Big Ten tournament. They were obviously joking. And by the way, Gary does a fantastic job. Looking forward to all the media coverage for the Buckeyes this week. It's going to be fun for them now that they're back in the big dance. But they did play themselves. If they'd been a 10, Tito,
Yeah.
now you're looking at a more viable path. Get hot shooting with Bruce Thornton, get a big game from Devin Royal or whatever. I could have seen them get into the Sweet 16 there. It's a little bit more difficult to forecast that with Duke looming there in the second round. So they won too many games by easing the pressure and not having to sweat on Selection Sunday.
If Ohio State played Duke Bodie 10 times, they might win 9 of them.
But tonight or Saturday afternoon.
Right, yes, right, whatever that's going to be. Coming up next, Bill Bender, Sporting News, joins us, tells us how he got the entire bracket correct. We'll do that. Morning Juice.
Hey friends, Beamer here, and I just want to let you know our son's about to turn 3 here this week. Baby boy number 2, he could show up any day now. And as you know, I got started on Awaken 180 because I wanted to keep up with the boys, with the babies. Well, it turns out that baby isn't a baby any longer. He has legs and he runs everywhere. Every parent knows this. Kids run their own schedule, so life in our house has gone from busy to really busy, and that's exactly why I'm grateful I started Awaken 180. Chasing a toddler is already a workout. Soon it's going to be 2 little guys who don't slow down. Since losing the weight, I've got more energy. I'm sleeping better. I'm not dragging through the day. I'm more present. And more importantly, I'm more patient. And that matters because this is not about looking different. It's about being active with my boys now and being there for them years from now. Awaken 180 gave me a clear plan, real coaching, and results that last. If you've got a busy season coming up or you're already in one, now's the time to do so. Awaken180weightloss.com. Get started today.
Raise your hand if you're excited about feeling older faster than you should. No takers? Yeah, I didn't think so. Ongoing pain makes you feel older than you are, but here's the good news. QC Kinetics patients right here in Columbus, they're getting relief right now, feeling younger and jumping back into life full speed ahead, and that didn't happen in an operating room. My friend Dr. Ray Tesner and his team use the latest regenerative treatments backed by real science, treatments that take the tiny, powerful healing tools inside your body, concentrate them right where you need the relief the most. This is how I was treated. I had a knee issue. I went in there. We had a consultation. I went through a series of treatments. And you know what? After a handful of months, my knee started feeling better and better until I was able to get out there and do the things I loved again. It's all true. It's all real. The sooner you get started, the sooner your inflammation eases and the sooner you'll start feeling better again. So find out if you're a candidate at your free consultation at qckinetics.com/Columbus or 380-208-4544.
What does it mean to give 100%? It means giving everything you've got, every single day. That's why the V Foundation gives 100% of every dollar donated directly to cancer research. So no matter what you give, we give 100% for life-saving research victories, 100% to making new discoveries that lead to innovative treatments, 100% to groundbreaking cancer research that could one day save someone you love. We know cancer research is working. Over the last 30 years, an estimated 4.5 million lives have been saved thanks to game-changing research breakthroughs. But there is more work to do. That's why the V Foundation gives 100% of every dollar donated directly to cancer research. We will always give 100% to accelerate victory over cancer.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Donate today at v.org.
One man is a national champion, NFL veteran, and local business leader. The other man is Tito. This is Morning Juice.
Sponsored by Riverside Bank of Dublin.
Here's Bobby and Tito.
All right, Morning Juice. Tito, Austin, Ward. Bodie Wells with you. I'm not sure why I said Austin's name that way. I'm sure there's a reason subconsciously. But now we are joined by Bill Bennett for Sporting News. Bill, good morning, my friend. Did anything, or what shocked you the most, I guess, in the NCAA bracket reveal?
Not too much. You know, I've done bracket projections for us for about 7 or 8 years at this point. And I think this was the first time I got the entire field right.
Did you really?
And I'm not. That's not a.
I can't believe that Tito set you up like that. There were no surprises for you. You crushed it.
Well, yeah, but the lines, like between the 4 and the 5, was a little dicey. Like, for example, I had St. John's as a 4. I think they should have been a 4. Vanderbilt probably should have been a 4. Kansas was a 5. I had a 4. I had them as a 5. So I got the actual teams in, but that, I think, Austin, that was a product of the bubble was so bad. When you were trying to make a case for an Auburn or a San Diego State. San Diego State was probably pretty close, but all things considered, I'm glad they put Miami in. I don't think Miami should be a first 4 team. I still think they should have been a 11 or maybe a 10 at this point.
Bill, as you mentioned with this bubble and kind of how horrific some of the candidates were to be into the field, I would hope at some point, we're going to enjoy a lot of great basketball over the next 3 weeks. But if they continue to think about expanding this field, and I think maybe you agree with me, they're going to do that inevitably because of the amount of dollars that are at stake. are these the kind of teams, like, does anybody need to see Auburn play another basketball game this year? Like, I personally don't, and they're not going to factor in the championship. I just don't understand why this conversation continues to exist outside of just pure money, and how much money do you need before you ruin the product in the first place?
It reminds me of the bowls, the bowl games, where we have so many now, and there's two ways to think of it. That on one hand, there are too many bowls, and on the other, sickos like us are going to sit and watch Toledo play Louisville in the Bush's Baked Beans Bowl or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, which I do.
Yep.
If they're going to expand the tournament field, I want them to let in more teams from the mid-major conferences. Like, it shouldn't be a debate to me that St. Louis is in. If anybody watched the end of that St. Louis-Dayton game and the sequence that happened there, the Billikens should still be in the tournament. Same thing with Akron and Miami. I'm glad there are two MAC teams in. So, like you said, we don't need a 8-10 SMU team and teams like that, even though SMU made it. We don't need bubble teams like that in. We need to let some more mid-majors in, and we will inevitably, unfortunately, go to 76. I don't like it either.
Bill Bender joins us on Sporting News. And, Bill, you mentioned Vanderbilt being a 5. You thought they should be a 4 is kind of where you had them pegged there. Do you think the committee kind of picks and chooses which conference tournaments mean a lot, which conference tournament results mean a lot, and which ones don't?
Yes. In the past, like, for example, I'm actually proud of the committee for putting Purdue back on the 2 seed, meaning that what they did over the last couple days in the Big Ten tournament mattered, and they slid Michigan State down. SEC tournament, I mean, Vanderbilt not only met the metrics and all of those things, but they had a great run in Nashville. So they should be a 4. And Kansas is a team that maybe we put them in there based on the regular season, based on their potential. But I thought they should be a 5. And here's the thing about St. John's that mystifies me is they sweep the Big East. And I know they don't have a bunch of quad 1 victories, but you're going to see a lot of people talk themselves into, and rightfully so, that they're going to beat Duke and they're going to make this run to the Final Four. If that's the case, then why are they a 5 and not a 4 seed? I mean, that's what doesn't make sense to me. St. John's is a very good basketball team.
Well, Bill, I mean, Duke's going to have its handful on Saturday. Got those red-hot Buckeyes.
Well, I heard you talking about it on the last segment, and if Ohio State catches Duke, and obviously they will be underdogs and probably heavy underdogs, but you're catching Duke at the right time with these injuries. I mean, there's no right time to catch Cameron Boozer, honestly, but the way, you know what I mean? Like, he is a total game plan wrecker. He was our player of the year at Sporting News. But when you have an experienced guard like Bruce Thornton, if they play like they did, against Michigan, and they made that a game right to the very end, who knows? So, first things first, though, obviously, Ohio State has to take care of that 8-9 game, and those are always coin flips, as you know. TCU is a pretty good basketball team as well.
Is that the toughest of the 4 regions, in your opinion? I know it's got the most high-profile coaches in it, the East, when you've got guys like Pitino and you got Bill Self in there as well. I mean, that one over there is Tom Izzo. That's a really loaded region over there as far as coaches go. Is that the best region, the most talented one?
I think it's the deepest region for that reason. I mean, you give Duke the number 1 overall seed, but here's St. John's and Rick Pitino, who is maybe the best coach ever, at least in my lifetime. He's right there with Coach K. There's no question. You get Michigan State, who we know by now that Tom Izzo will have them ready to go in March, and that potential matchup between UConn and Michigan State could be really good. I mean, yeah, in terms of coach power and all of that, I think, and I got, accosted on Twitter a little bit because I said St. John's was a blue blood. I mean, St. John's isn't a blue blood, but Rick Pitino is.
Sure.
I mean, he absolutely is. So, and you still have Louisville and Ohio State in that region. It's absolutely loaded in terms of fan bases, interest. It's going to be a lot of fun to see. I think the region where the games might be the most entertaining is if you look in that Midwest region with Michigan, you have 6 of the top 10 scoring offenses in the country in that region, including St. Louis, Georgia, Alabama, Miami of Ohio. Those games are going to be fun on that side too.
Bill, so you have one shot to build the perfect bracket when it is released on Selection Sunday. Now, how many iterations of picking the winners will you fill out?
I typically do at least 3 or 4. And my college roommate, he was one of those guys that he filled out one, he followed one, he was very religious about it, and he would make fun of me when I would have 5 and 6, and I would say, well, it's not like this isn't a noble cause for me. I'm trying to win a bracket. I can have multiple. I like having. I don't like. You know what I don't like, Austin, is at noon that first game, and whenever I didn't look at the TV schedule yet, but if there's an 8-9 game, I need to win one game.
I think we can get right off with Ohio State TCU.
It's Ohio State TCU.
Yeah.
That's the first game.
Well, I got Ohio State, so let's go 1-0 to start, and then we go from there. But yeah, I'll fill out multiple brackets, so there's no total answer key for me. And but of the teams, I mean, one of the things that's interesting is, I think Arizona, Michigan, Duke, they're all really capable of winning it. And then after that, I mean, there's probably some other teams, but those are the 3 that I think would be the most likely of those 1 seeds to do it. And a lot of people are going to pick Arizona, and I've had that happen before, and we know how that goes.
That is annoying. You're right. When people do that, like, oh, no, you felt more than 1? What are you? What's wrong with you? You do 1. Bracket of integrity. Just do 1. No.
Bracket integrity.
I'll do like you. I'll do 3 or 4, maybe 5. And my kid will do 7 or 8 online and things like that. He'll always want to do it, my 9-year-old son. So, and then we like to watch all the ones, see how many ones we're beating each other in. The Ohio State thing, one of their strengths, what I love about Ohio State is the fact you've got the experience of Bruce Thornton, senior guard play, another solid guard, obviously Mobley, who can shoot lights out, and in the NCAA tournament, guard play very important. One of the teams I've watched, haven't watched a lot of, when I've watched them though, I've enjoyed watching them. It also has strong guard play. Wisconsin, they could make some noise in this tournament, right?
Yeah, and they shoot the 3 well, and they had Michigan on a Saturday. They made that a game right to the very end. Potential second round matchup with Arkansas could be highly entertaining, but they've got to play well in their first game. Everybody looks for bracket busters. I think the strongest line of bracket buster is on that 12 line. Teams like High Point. High Point, they average 90 points per game. They get up and down. They shoot 3 well, and they have a bunch of portal guys. So that's that team to watch out for. They have a guy from Kentucky. They have a guy from Arizona. It's kind of a homer pick, but and it shouldn't be because I don't, I've rooted against them for so long over the years. But Akron is really good, and the way that they won in thrilling fashion. So they could throw a wrench into that against Texas Tech. They're 0-7 all time in the tournament, but I feel like John Gross and that team is due. And what a finish that was in Cleveland for them the other night.
Bill, you rattled off a couple potential options there for upsets in the first round. If you had to only pick one that you are most confident in, if it was a survivor pick, what upset are you targeting?
Well, I mentioned Akron, then that's one, but McNeese is back, and McNeese is really good, and Vanderbilt's coming off as well as they've played, and their guard play is there. Tito's right. I mean, I definitely value guard play in the tournament. Senior guards, if they can score and they don't turn the ball over a lot. McNeese did this last year. They're not going to sneak up on the Vanderbilt by any means, but they certainly, if I'm assuming it has to be a double-digit team, if I had to take one, it would be McNeese on the lines 12 or lower. An 11 team that I think is interesting, but they got to beat North Carolina is VCU. They've played very well in the Atlantic 10. They had to win to get in, basically. Another team, like we were saying earlier, let those type of teams in. They're fun. They could be a really interesting team, but that's a tough matchup against North Carolina.
So first 4, Miami of Ohio, SMU. I'm with you on the Miami of Ohio thing. I don't think Miami should be in the play-in game. I think they should be solidly in the field and not have to go through the play-in game situation. It shocks me that they're at the record they're at. But I know you said you got the field correct as far as the teams that are in there. Is there one team that could maybe complain the most about not getting in?
Probably San Diego State. And you saw their head coach talking about that before the Mountain West Conference Championship game. They ran into a really good Utah State team. They're another dangerous team on a 8-9 game that could be interesting and make a run there and challenge in the West. But, I thought they had a case because you did look at their schedule and they did play, tough games. Quad 1. They scheduled well in non-conference play. They lose their conference championship. They don't get in. And San Diego State, I mean, they're not by no means a blue blood, but they've been in the tournament. They've been in the Final Four. They had that kind of reputation. So they were the one that surprised me a little bit. Auburn, the metrics were there. This is kind of like that college football playoff argument that Texas tried to do last year where, yeah, they played a lot of really good teams in Quad 1 and Quad 2, but at a certain point, you've got to win some of those games.
Well, yeah, when we're talking about teams that want to complain the most, they have Bruce Pearl on the payroll still out there to go publicly advocate for them. And I really, really wish we could get Bruce Pearl off of my television screen, but now somehow he's become the face of college basketball for March Madness. And let's start our own push, Bill, to get him removed from CBS.
Well, I think he just went off the rails when he went after Miami because it just didn't make sense to me. I mean, you look at this, I pointed this out last night in one of the region breakdowns. Miami went undefeated in the regular season, 31-0. They lose to UMass. But still, the Miami team that had Wally Zerbiak when I was a freshman in college, they didn't win the MAC championship. They got to the MAC championship game. They lose to Kent State. They were a 10 seed. So that's why I assumed that this Miami team would be around a 10 seed, should have been a 10 seed. I'm hoping those MAC – and here's the thing. I think we talked about this last week. There's a lot of pressure on Miami in the first four because if they go out and get blasted by SMU, the people from the power conferences are going to say, see, they weren't very good. And, that's not necessarily fair to them. Had they played in a 7-10 game and got beat, I think that's less. So I'm looking forward to seeing them in this spotlight. It is a first four game. Is it on True TV? I've got to find. It's the annual tradition of finding.
You got one day to find True TV on your dial.
Yes, it's on True TV. This is a time of year everybody looks and finds out where True TV is. But yes, that's where it is.
Well, it's like one of my buddies says every year. You said it's got to interrupt the Practical Jokers marathon, which occasionally I watch that show as background noise, and it can be funny. But man, they run that thing like 24 hours a day.
It's always on somewhere, Bill. It's like the new Law and Order. You're filling out one bracket. You filled out one bracket already. But the first bracket you fill out or are going to fill out, who's going to be in your Final Four?
Oh, we've got I fill out a lot of chalky brackets, and I am going to put two Big Ten teams in the Final Four. I do think Michigan gets there.
Ohio State,
it's not going to be easy. I got Illinois.
Oh.
I think they're going to be that team. You're really taking a risk there. But I feel like if they're playing their A game, they can win down in that bracket. I have Duke. There's going to be a lot of people ask questions about the injuries. Like I said, they still have Cam Boozer, and he's very good. And I think John Shire's a high-level coach. And then I have Arizona. So if we get to that Final Four, I'd be happy. Yeah, the Sporting News, we had variation this year. Last year, everybody's Final Fours looked the same. But Mike DeCourcy, myself, Vinny Iyer, we all have some brackets. Somebody used AI. One of our guys used AI to pick the Final Four. That's always interesting. But we have a little more variation this year, and that's a good thing.
Bill, appreciate the time. Thanks so much. Next week, we will all be weeping over our brackets. You won't be. You know what you're talking about, Bill. Have a great week, bud.
I will. I'll try. Thanks so much, guys. I'll talk to you later.
You bet. That was Bill Bender there from Sporting News. Coming up next, 10 TV's Jacob Reimer joins us. We can't talk enough basketball today. Morning Juice.
Once there was a man who couldn't stand.
A mom who couldn't wait.
A scientific community that said it couldn't be done.
And then you.
And then I.
And then we.
Brought neuromuscular disease into screaming color with the Muscular Dystrophy Association.
For 75 years, our voices have thundered through the halls of Congress.
We've willed the impossible into existence.
We've pushed the science,
raised the funds,
shifted the narrative,
and transformed the reality of life with neuromuscular diseases.
For 75 years, we've built communities together.
Established the field of neuromuscular medicine,
and made it thrive.
Call that a legacy.
Call it impact.
Call it momentum.
Just call it ours.
Because it's the generations of community heroes that give MDA the strength we have today.
And until neuromuscular disease is a thing of the past, you couldn't stop us if you tried.
Join us and celebrate 75 years of breakthroughs at MDA75.org.
I always tell people I was the luckiest guy in the world. I wanted to be an Army man or a fireman, and I got to do both. As a firefighter, my job was about saving lives. I never thought one day I would be fighting for mine.
After spending his career answering the call to save others,
Ken was diagnosed with ALS. Now he's facing his biggest battle, for more time. For 70 years, Muscular Dystrophy Association has been answering the call to help people live longer and more independent lives.
MDA means to me hope.
MDA is leading the way for people living with ALS, muscular dystrophy, and other neuromuscular diseases by accelerating research, advancing care, and advocating to empower families like Ken's.
I wouldn't be living as good of a life with ALS if it wasn't for MDA. MDA is helping people live stronger and love longer. Learn more at MDA.org today.
Hey guys, 13-year NFL veteran and Super Bowl champion Jason McCourty here, and I'm an innovation ambassador at FAIR, Food Allergy and Research Education. I would say the most challenging thing as a parent of a kid who has a food allergy is probably the ignorance that I myself had in the beginning. I didn't know what anaphylactic shock was. I didn't know the dangers, let alone the things that she needed to be able to have a normal life. When you go to drop your kid off, and every single time in the beginning, we'd have to go through everything she was allergic to. Preparation is everything. And me, for playing football for 13 years, it was all throughout the course of the week. It's getting ready for game day. When you're on the field, you're playing for your fans. At home, you're playing for your family. My playbook: read labels, keep it allergy friendly, and have an epinephrine nasal spray as a backup plan. Because when my family's safe from food allergens, that's the real victory. Visit foodallergy.org to learn more.
Tito invited the new Russian family who moved in down the street to watch Rocky IV. It did not go well. I must break you. This is Morning Juice.
Morning Juice. Not dare our public business. Oh, you told me you're off Friday just now. No,
that's correct. Yep.
Fine. And now everyone else heard it too. So who does today in history?
I guess Isaiah. Wow. I mean, I have a sheet kind of ready to go.
I think it sounds like Tito's
No,
day in history.
I see. I did it a couple times and they kicked me off. I used to do it when Beamer was off. I would do it. Then after doing like 2 or 3, they said, we're gonna have Shark do it from now on.
You're out of here.
Yeah, they called.
I think Jay-Z could do it.
You want a teaser?
Give him a little homework.
Let's do a teaser. What do you got?
Let's see here. Oh yeah, I love this one. I'll definitely have a clip for you guys ready to go Friday. Turning 72 years old today, a man who pioneered in this business, Mike Francesa.
Oh yes,
you can go down a pretty nice wormhole of.
You get a couple of minutes of clips there.
Oh
yes.
yeah, people calling in. Hey Mike, you think the Yankees can go 162-0 this year?
Right,
like,
yeah.
just hold on.
Yeah. Get him
that was
falling
my
asleep too.
Poor Mike Francesa.
That's a good one, I want to tell you guys something. So the guy we have on now is 10 TV's Jacob Reimer. And I texted him last night and said, hey, 7 a.m. good. And he's like, well, yeah, but can we do earlier? That's me using the tone of the text. And what I took that to mean was Reimer's got other more high-profile interviews to do after this one.
He's fully booked.
I bet 7 o'clock he's got something really big planned. And that's why he's like, sure, but I'd rather slum with you guys a little bit early if that's okay.
It's the day after the brackets came out. He's booked from morning until night.
I know. We lean on him this time of year. Jacob Reimer from 10 TV joins us. Good morning, Jacob.
Good morning, fellas. And actually, I have a doctor's appointment for my 6-month-old that I have to be at. So
bring a family. It's fine. You didn't have to do that. You didn't have to say that. You could just anyway, Reimer. We had Bill Bender on before. Asked him what surprised him about the bracket. I'm curious, kind of overview for you. When you saw the bracket reveal, what were a couple of things stood out to you? It was like, wow, I did not see that coming.
I kind of figured it would happen, but I didn't want it to happen. Would be Miami getting put in Dayton. I felt like they had the right to be a for sure at-large team and not have to go there. But I think we can all agree that that's probably going to be the best environment that Dayton has had for a first 4 game, just for how close it is to Millett Hall and everything. I found it interesting that the committee put St. John's and UConn in the same region. I mean, they just played in the Big East Championship. They've played 3 times already this year, and there's only 3 Big East teams in it. So why not spread them out? And if you get a 4th matchup, maybe it's in a Final Four or a national championship instead of in an Elite 8, which will still be fun. I mean, I don't think they're complaining about the region because they're both in the East, which pays off for them. So I think that was probably the 2 biggest surprising things to me was Miami actually getting put in Dayton, and then the Big East, with the number of teams they actually had, the two best are in the same region.
Jacob, we just were, singing the praises of Bill Bender, who nailed his bracketology and got every team in the field correct. But nobody knows that you did the exact same thing. You texted me this bracket on like Friday, and I had all 68 teams in it. You deserve the same credit too. You are my bracketologist.
Wow.
Well, Austin, I appreciate that. I dive a lot into tape and stay up late nights, countless hours watching games and trying to figure out who the Cinderella is going to be. So I appreciate that I'm your bracketologist.
All right, who is Cinderella then?
You see, I keep going back and forth on a lot of teams. I really like South Florida. I think this is a really good matchup for them with Louisville, who I don't know what the status of Michael Brown's going to be, their point guard, their best player. Like, he's expected to be back, but it's not 100% healthy, that's for sure. But they shoot the lights out. They get up and down. They're in the top 20 in tempo, and that plays right into what Louisville does and where they have problems against defensively. They're also playing in Buffalo, which is the home of their coach, Ben Hodgson, and he came from the Alabama tree. Nate Oates tree was an assistant with him at Buffalo and at Alabama. I feel like it's a great opportunity for them to really pick off a couple wins, because Michigan State then is who they get in the round of 32 if they beat Louisville, and they're not great. They're a great defensive team, but they can get beat over the top with some great three-point shooting teams. We've seen that this year, and I feel like it really sets up for some chaos in that bottom part of the East region.
10 TV's Jacob Reimer joins us here, and your second favorite team is also dealing with injuries, Duke. Is that going to how much is that going to impede their run, or do you still think they can overcome that and get to the Final Four?
Well, it's interesting how, this Duke team is metric-wise one of the greatest teams of all time, and it feels like they are also the most doubted team of all time. Like, they've got these injuries. It's been a question mark for me of who is going to be that second option next to Cam Boozer, and it's just been a bunch of different guys every night. Like Isaiah Evans, Dame Sarr's been huge, but I think that they'll be okay, because if you just look what they did in the ACC tournament, like, Virginia is a really good basketball team and a team that I think could get to the Elite Eight, maybe even a Final Four, and they still held on and found a way to beat them. I think Caden Boozer has really come to his own and shown what he's fully capable of doing the last few games with Caleb Foster out for them, their point guard. And I mean, that's still going to be a big loss. You need guards this time of year, especially one like Caleb Foster, who's an experienced guy and is a really strong defender. And that's where I kind of think Ohio State has a shot, because if they get through TCU, you got Bruce Thornton, you got John Mobley Jr., you don't have to worry about Dame Sarr defensively and Caleb Foster. Dame Sarr is just going to have to focus on one of those two. And that sets up for one of those, the other one, to really then take off and kind of explode. So I think that could be a problem. I think Florida State showed how you can beat them, and that's running a zone. And Ohio State ran a zone multiple times this year. So I think that's where this is the most – Duke is the best team in this field, but they're also the most gettable right now.
So you did or did not put Ohio State into the Sweet 16 ahead of Duke?
I'm still weighing my options.
Okay.
I think there is a real world where, who knows? Bruce Thornton can just get hot. This is his time. He's getting the very first game of the tournament to showcase his abilities to a national audience with the A call, and you possibly get Duke then in the round of 32. I feel like this is going to be a Bruce Thornton show. I think he's waited long enough for it that if anybody can keep you in a game against this Duke team, it'll be Bruce Thornton. We've seen it multiple times throughout his career.
Now that Ohio State and Jake Diebler are officially in, we know that they didn't have to sweat on Selection Sunday, and you zoom out, Reimer, what level of accomplishment is this? I wrote, yesterday that this validates the bet that Ohio State made on Jake Diebler as a coach. And a couple of weeks ago, that might have been a relatively crazy thing to say when they were flirting with the wrong side of the bubble. I think, yes, Ohio State needs to be in the tournament every single year. So is it something worth celebrating? I think in this case, yes, when it's been 4 years without it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was the biggest goal for them coming into this year, was to get back to the NCAA tournament. And now they're here with a nice path and a favorable matchup to where they can win a game. And I also look at it for future-wise too. Like, this is a lot of momentum moving forward with what you have coming in with Anthony Thompson. If you're able to bring back John Mobley Jr. and Amari Bynum and Devin Royal and those guys, like you can then play yourself into a potential higher seed for next year and to consistently be getting these NCAA tournament appearances and maybe even make some deep runs. And like that's the thing. Like, Duke has the most pressure of anybody. They're the number 1 overall seed. If Ohio State can win that first game, just play free, have fun. Like, this is Bruce Thornton's last ride. Like, everything is there for them to build a lot of momentum moving forward into the next few years. And I will credit Jake Diebler for the coaching job that he did after they lost Michigan State and Iowa. And it was like, okay, Purdue's coming up. Like, it's a must win. Like, it's Purdue, like one of the best teams in the country. And now they just went on and won the Big Ten championship. Like, what are you going to do? And the job that he and the coaching staff and the team have done since that Iowa game to turn around and look like one of the hottest teams in the country. Since March started, they're 5th overall in the country on Torvik. They have one of the best offenses right now. They're defending at a high level. Like, it was a really good job. Like, we really questioned what's going to happen. They're firmly on the bubble right now, and they completely took themselves off. So I think it was a great job for sure.
Reimer, I've been told that a great interviewer usually knows the answers to the questions before he asks them. That being said, I have no idea the answer to this one. We did something on 10 TV or 10 TV Plus last night with tournament stuff. Were you on TV last night?
Yes, I was.
Well, you definitely need to know the answer to that one, Tito.
I figured it was. I didn't know, though. I
did not know. You think that they're going to do a basketball show without Jacob Reimer?
I offered to come on the show on the air. I publicly said on Saturday I'd come on in a Speedo if they would have me on.
Okay.
And never got the call. But
you
they
thought
get
that was going to sweeten the pot?
I thought it would. I really did. I thought it would.
Steal?
Yeah, I was going to do it.
Go on the Saxon show with the Speedo?
Yes, I was going to do that.
We did a live thing with the bracket reveal that was on the fans YouTube and on 10 TV Plus, and then I think something from it was on Wall to Wall last night too. So we were just all over the place.
Yeah, when you're on TV that much, you kind of lose track of how many different stations you're on. I get that. Reimer, you've said, I think, this publicly, and I know other people have said it as well, but that this might be the best freshman class in NCAA history with the guys they've got in this. And now, because of that, now you've got a lot of freshmen that teams are counting on to make a run in the tournament. Is there any freshman in particular you think can lead his team very far? And is there one you're worried about? I'm always worried about Peterson's health with Kansas. Who knows if he's going to play or not? Or is there anybody you're concerned about? Or give me your thought on the freshmen that are leading teams in the tournament.
It's so funny because I've been really big on in previous years, like having experienced guards, and especially like if you just look at past Duke teams with the inexperience that they've had and not been able to get over the top and win a national championship, you need experience at this time of year to where you can have a vet that you can turn to in a time of need. And it's so funny that now you look at all these freshmen that are going to be relied on. You got Cam Boozer, you got Darren Peterson, you got Darius Aikoff, and honestly, that's the guy I think that can really take a team deep is Arkansas and Darius Aikoff, because he has all the tools. I think it can be like a Kemba Walker type run. He averaged 30 points per game in the SEC tournament, was getting double-digit assists. Like in the SEC championship, he had 30 and 11. Like, he is ridiculous. My favorite guard in this class, going to be a first-team All-American, in my opinion. The one thing that I hate is that region is going to be impossible for me to pick because I love Arizona, and I also thought Wisconsin is – I think Wisconsin's very dangerous. And to get Arkansas and Wisconsin potentially in the round of 32 is criminal, but it's also going to be a very fun game. But I feel like Arkansas with Darius Aikoff can get past that and then really challenge Arizona with their size and what he's able to bring to the table. It's different. You're being put into conversations of stat categories that only you and Pistol Pete Maravich are doing. That's special.
Jacob, Tito has already admitted that he will fill out 7 or 8 versions of his bracket to try and give as many opportunities to win as possible. Where do you stand on bracket integrity?
I mean, growing up, I would get close to double digits.
Oh my goodness!
But now I've cooled down a little bit now, and I will probably have about 3 or 4. Two for sure, legit ones with 2 real winners, and then I'll probably have a little bit more chaos in another one. Also, I think I'm trying to figure out a way to have Nora fill out a bracket, and my dog Luca will be filling out a bracket. And the 3 years that he's done a bracket, he's 2 for 3. He called UConn's back-to-back. So
wow.
I think we just know ball here in the Reimer household.
What a shocker that Reimer has a dog that knows college basketball, right? Who had that on their bingo card? Good Lord. And by the way, if his daughter or dog beat me, I don't want to hear about it, which I don't think I'll make my brackets public.
Is Nora onto any solid foods yet, Reimer?
I mean, we've been having like asparagus and broccoli and everything, but like it's been like mushed down to where it's just a liquid.
Okay.
She really likes asparagus, does not like broccoli.
Okay.
So we're there
She's
now.
American.
Just like two piles of mashed up asparagus next to team names, probably the way you got to go, right? Or favorite toys, which one you're going to select. That it's got to be those two options. You don't have many others.
We'll figure something out. She's got a lot of stuffed animals. We'll assign a team. And I do have a rule where all the 1s and 2s advance, just so that we have like a little bit of more chalk and not anything crazy, and it can be realistic.
Okay.
But I think we might have to go with some of her toys and which one she leans to.
There we go.
I make fun of him sometimes, saying he neglects his daughter to watch basketball. But if you notice that when you ask him the question, is she on solid foods yet? He paused. Instead of saying, yep. He said, well, and he started to think of an answer in his head. What can I say that'll make it sound like I know? I don't think he really knows. I think she's on her 3rd week in preschool. He has no clue.
But he does know AJ DeBonce's over.
He does. He does. He is, as we found out now, a YouTube sensation, as he said humbly before. He was on YouTube yesterday, 10 TV Plus, 10 TV. The guy is everywhere. We're going to get sick of him probably about 3 weeks. But Jacob, enjoy the ride right now, buddy. We appreciate the time. Thanks so much. Go reintroduce yourself to your daughter.
Thank you guys for having me on. Enjoy this basketball the next few weeks. It's going to be chaotic for sure.
There we go. Jacob Reimer, 10 TV. He does he moonlights on the Fan. Once in a while, he'll do stuff here on the Fan, joining us right there. Coming up next, you thought we'd do it earlier, but we didn't. Quick hitters are next. Morning Juice.
Hey, Bobby Carpenter here with the Riverside Bank of Dublin Sports Money Report. In sports, winning isn't just about points on the board, it's about dollars off of it. From billion-dollar TV deals to player contracts worth more than entire franchises once were, today's games are run on smart financial strategy. And just like a championship team, success comes from planning, discipline, and long-term vision. That's the same approach your money deserves. Here's Chuck Moore, CEO, and Travis Sanders, president of Riverside Bank of Dublin.
Thanks, Bobby. Those core values are the foundation for any successful business. Because whether it's building a roster or building your future, strong fundamentals matter. At Riverside Bank of Dublin, we look at every deal and every opportunity with our core values in mind.
That's right, Chuck. It can take 2 years like it did in Bloomington, or 10, but sustainable success comes from fundamentals done right. Riverside Bank of Dublin, rooted in the community, focused on relationships, and committed to helping our clients win financially. Look for our new branch location in Bridge Park in Dublin.
Tune in every day for the Riverside Bank of Dublin Sports Money Report. Visit their office at 6300 France Road in Dublin or online at riverside.bank.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
My mom is a veteran and she was injured in the line of duty.
I hurt my leg in a training accident when she was only 2 years old.
She had 7 different surgeries over the span of 9 years, and there were tons of complications.
I couldn't be the mom my kids needed me to be.
She missed so much.
After my last surgery, I got an infection so bad I thought it was going to kill me.
I told her she couldn't leave me yet. There was still so much she had to see. I hadn't even graduated.
I'm doing much better now. I may have lost my leg, but I've gained so much. I'm an active part of my kids' lives.
She can kick a mean soccer ball.
DAV's been there for me and my family. Through thick and thin, they've had our back.
Every year, DAV helps more than 1 million veterans like Sandy get the health and disability benefits they've earned, so they can achieve victories great and small.
My victory is getting my life back. I got my joy back.
We got our mom back, thanks to DAV.
Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
While serving in Vietnam, a grenade took my ability to see. Today, I'm a sculptor. Now, my fingers are my eyes. I'm Michael Naranjo. As a veteran, I know the challenges of life can be great. In my art, turning a lump of clay into something beautiful, that is worth doing. Life is like that. We each must use what we can to make things better.
DAV helps veterans like Michael get the benefits they've earned. They help more than 1 million veterans every year in life-changing ways.
Now, I show others how they can create something with their own hands. I know it can do a lot of good.
With support from DAV, more veterans can shape their lives into a thing of beauty. My victory is bringing beauty into the world.
Michael Naranjo, may your victories inspire many more. Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
Proud to be your go-to sports addiction.
WBNS, WBNS-FM, HD3 Columbus.
The Fan 3, Ohio sports destination. Attack and dominate. You're locked into Morning Juice.
Sponsored by Riverside Bank of Dublin.
Here's Bobby and Tito.
Morning Juice. Thank you to Jacob Reimer and Bill Bender for joining us there this morning.
Legends.
In this hour, we will also hear from what Jake Diebler had to say as we talk more and more about the NCAA tournament. Also touch on the women's side a little bit as well.
We're going to do what?
Listen, I'm glad Bobby's not here. He wouldn't bring it up, yet Austin still caught it because I also caught it. We will talk about the women's bracket a little bit as well. Yes, that's what I said.
Did you know that last week was the opening week of spring football as well?
You know, that's what we're doing that segment also. We'll hear from Diebler, and then we also have to, at some point in time, because we're required contractually to say something about Ohio State football for Austin Ward. And so we're going to do that also in the next segment. This segment, though, is Bodie's turn to shine. Bodie, take it away.
Morning Juice presents Quick Hitters.
All right, guys, happy Monday. We'll start here.
Your favorite day of the week.
With some college football. How about this, guys? FanDuel Sportsbook has released their win totals for every college football team in the 4 major conferences. And the over-under for Ohio State, I have to imagine this is as low as it's been in quite some time because they have the Buckeyes sitting at 9.5 wins. That's third best in the Big Ten behind the reigning national champion, Indiana Hoosiers, and Oregon. The Hoosiers and Ducks both sit at 10.5. Nationally, 2 teams tied at the top for the most over-under wins. That would be the Notre Dame Fighting Irish and Texas Tech Red Raiders at 11.5. Along with Indiana and Oregon, the Miami Hurricanes are at 10.5, and then Georgia, Texas, and Penn State join Ohio State at 9.5. Austin, a difficult schedule, no doubt, and FanDuel still has them right there in the top 6 or 7 teams, but, man, it just 10 wins. Ryan Day has just made that such a floor that I know it's a tough schedule, but 9-3, I'll take the over.
Yeah, I mean, you can set your alarm to it, and it's it's going to go off every single year. The schedule is difficult. Ohio State is going to be a double-digit win team. They are the most talented team in the country. I just don't. I understand why you would peg that number at 9.5 because of this gauntlet that they're going to face. But you know, they've already proven that they can go into the state of Texas and beat the Longhorns. Is anyone really that concerned about playing USC or when you have Oregon coming into the horseshoe? I don't view a lot of these as actual toss-ups for Ohio State, as talented as they are and where most of these games are being played. Now, I know that they can trip up and nothing is ever guaranteed, but I would not in any circumstance be taking the under on 9.5.
USC, you mentioned them. They're a school that looks so much tougher on paper right now. They won the recruiting. They got the recruiting flag.
They do have a recruiting banner that they can hang in the facility there.
But by Halloween, will USC be that daunting? Maybe not. The fact that in 18 of the last 20 years, Ohio State's won at least 10 games. The only 2 they didn't was the Fickle year. I mean, Luke Fickle. Not it was a Fickle year. Fickle.
It was Fickle.
It was Fickle. And the COVID season.
When they couldn't, because they didn't even play 10 games.
They could have if they would have played 10, but they didn't. So, I have a hard time taking under 9.5. It seems to me like 10 wins is a lock for this team. And yes, right now, the schedule, if you say Texas, I don't know about Iowa, USC, maybe, or they get Oregon here, which I like, so if I were I am a betting man. Since I'm a betting man, I would take the over on that one, though. I think over 9.5 is a safe bet with Ohio State there. But you got Texas on the road, Indiana on the road, Oregon at home, and then you got the at Iowa and at USC, and then Michigan. But I'm not worried that much about that one. So I think over is the right play here. 9.5. I think that's your best chance of getting bets though is by saying 9.5. Like if you're a sports book, because if you said 10.5, I don't think you get nearly as many.
Yeah, and also when you play the schedule, and if Ohio State just barely covers that regular season win total, and you go 10-2. guess what? You're going to the college football playoff.
Yeah.
That's
easily.
Nothing about that would be.
You're probably hosting.
Yeah,
I think. Honestly.
you think, yes, you
unless
probably-
the schedule falls apart, which, it happens from time to time. We'll sit here in March, be like, man, look at how easy or hard that schedule is.
Right.
And then you show up in December, it's like, actually, it was kind of the opposite. But there's enough depth at this schedule that I don't see that happening too much. But I'm with you guys. I just don't Illinois is not going to be a bad team. Neither's Iowa, neither's SC. But I don't know how you could sit here today and be like, yeah, Southern Cal's going to get the Buckeyes. What has Lincoln Riley showed you really at any point? I mean, they were pretty good his first year, but still, they dropped a couple games that kept them out of the playoff. And certainly last 3 years, he's been there 4 years now, I think. What have they shown you to, not saying they'll be bad, but what have they shown you to be like, yeah, they're going to knock off Ohio State in the Coliseum? I mean, first off, that the only tough part of that road trip is the time zones. Ohio State will probably
having
have
to be
a
in
quarter
Los
of the
Angeles.
amount of that, yeah, true, that too. But otherwise, I just don't know how you could see a team like USC or, like I said, Illinois, Iowa. Going to Kinnick can be always a little tricky sometimes, but even Michigan the last couple years now, and Whittingham is certainly a better coach than Sherrod Moore.
Right.
But I mean, they got to get significantly better on the offensive side of the ball to make me think they're going to come into Columbus on Thanksgiving weekend and score enough points to beat Ohio State.
Whittingham doesn't seem as much of a Romeo, maybe, as.
He doesn't have many felonies.
That's true. Also, yes. We look at
going for him.
The schedule thing, though. Like you mentioned, Bodie, you look at schedule now. And some of them might look tough, but last year, any schedule that had Penn State or Florida State or Clemson on it, everyone thought, wow, that's gonna be a really tough game. And then you see what Florida State and Penn State both did, and it was like all of a sudden maybe not so tough after all.
Well, and I think Bodie made a good point as well that last year it was contingent. Ohio State has a tough schedule. There's these tentpole games in every month, but then Penn State fell off the side of the world. If one of these teams that we're projecting as a difficult matchup, let's say USC for Ohio State, if they start to struggle in the middle of October, like Illinois or Iowa or going on the road to Nebraska, any of those could potentially elevate and still make it the number one schedule in college football. So I think that's also the unique challenge. There's not going to be many breathers here for Ohio State, even when you're not playing Oregon, not playing Michigan, not playing Texas. A lot of those other games could still trip you up. So I fully recognize the difficulty of it, but the best way to get through a schedule like that is to have the most talented team.
That always helps, for sure. We will, let's go to, how about some hockey here, guys? We've got 29 days left in the regular season, 16 games, and the third toughest remaining strength of schedule in the league. That's all that lies between the Jackets and the Stanley Cup playoffs. They got a nice win on Saturday night. Kind of I'd call it maybe a little bit of a much-needed win to an extent. Kirill Marchenko scored twice, 24th and 25th goals of his season, and the 25th goal was the 100th goal of his career. He's just the 9th Blue Jacket to do that. Jet Greaves was awesome in net as the Jackets beat the Flyers 2-1 in a shootout win on Saturday night in Philadelphia. They'll play 6 of their next 9 games here at the NWA Nationwide Arena, Tito. Right now, they're a point back of Boston and Detroit for the 2 wildcard spots in the Eastern Conference playoff race. They're 2 points back of the Islanders and Penguins in the division. They're also, I believe, I meant to write this down, but I forgot, just 3 points back of Montreal. And not in Montreal's, not in the Metro there, but they're obviously could fluctuate in the wild card race. Good news, though, for the Jackets. I mentioned they have the third toughest schedule left, but how about this? Pittsburgh has the toughest. Boston has the second toughest. The Islanders have the fourth toughest. And just for good measure, the Canadiens have the 7th toughest schedule left. So, Tito, it's right there in front of them for basically all those teams, frankly. But the Jackets, of course, are the ones we care about the most. They got their work cut out for them. But if they get into the playoffs, they kind of control. I know technically right now they're out of the postseason, but they control their own destiny from the standpoint that they play Boston, Montreal, and all these teams multiple times here. And what I mentioned there, 16 games in 29 days. It's a stretch run here for them.
One of the tiebreakers is regulation wins, and they're lagging in that one compared to Detroit and Boston. But yes, I love the Jackets' chances of making it. I think they're playing with a lot of confidence. A 9-game point streak now, which is their longest of the season. And the fact they've got that kind of momentum going, the goaltending has been better than I would say. Elvis is better than I thought he would be at this time of year.
Better than you expected.
Yes, hard to believe. I know. That's my better over expectation, my BOE ranking. I've got him up there on that one, but Jets played well. The defense seems to come. The team seems to me like they are destined to be in the playoffs. Call me a homer. They will be in the postseason.
Makes you want to go back to late October and early November, some of those leads that got away, because as Bodie mentioned, this stretch run is going to be a grind. Right, playing every other day, or less than every other day, really, when you break it down to 16 games in 29 days. But they had so many opportunities that they just threw away in third periods of games early in the season, and that's how you wind up being in next to last or last in the Eastern Conference, because you're struggling as much as they were. But this talent, I think, was in there all along. It's great that the Boneyard has been able to unleash it, that they are playing at the highest level. But they did dig themselves a hole. That means that they don't have this margin for error down the stretch. I love the way they're playing. They are playing together. They are playing with a purpose. I know that we could brew the overtime losers points and all that from last week, but they are playing sustained high-level hockey, and this is really all you could ask for going into March for this team.
Saturday, April 11th, they play at Montreal. Sunday, April 12th, they host Boston. That's a pretty important back-to-back right there.
Probably going to come down to that.
Yep.
There you go. All right, to the NFL here, guys. A bunch of the dominoes, most of the major dominoes have kind of already fallen here so far, as free agency is about a weekend now. And Field Yates of ESPN, he has released an updated mini mock draft. This is the first I've heard of these, but I love it.
What's a mini mock?
We don't need 32. Let's just stick with the top 10.
Okay.
He still has the Raiders. No
Fun
surprise
size.
here. This one's going to be locked in for sure. Fernando Mendoza, the quarterback out of IU. After that, he has the Jets taking David Bailey, the edge rusher out of Texas Tech. 3, 4, and 5 got a trio of Buckeyes. I went back a decade. I couldn't find any time this has ever happened before, at least not at the top of the draft, so I'm not sure if it's ever happened before. Arvell Reese, the edge rusher linebacker to the Arizona Cardinals. Cardinal Tate, the wideout to the Tennessee Titans. And then Caleb Downs, the safety to the New York Football Giants. 6 through 10, he has Monroe Freeling, the offensive tackle out of Georgia, going to the Cleveland Browns. The Washington Commanders taking Jeremiah Love, the running back out of Notre Dame at number 7. Number 8, the Saints taking Mekhi Lemon, the Southern California wide receiver. Number 9, Kansas City taking Francis Mauigoa. I'm pretty sure is how that is pronounced, even though there's no N in his name. Makes sense. I don't know. But nevertheless, the offensive tackle out of Miami. And then the Cincinnati Bengals at number 10 taking Reuben Bain Jr., the edge rusher out of Miami as well. So back-to-back Canes there at 9 and 10. Austin, if Sonny Styles makes it to 11,
you're going to tell me
I'm going to have a stroke if the Cowboys don't go grab him. But nevertheless.
Well, I'll have already stroked out if the Bengals don't take Sonny Styles at 10.
Okay, there you go. Anything else along with that jump out to you there?
I don't understand. What did Sonny do to let this mini mock?
He's gotten a lot worse lately.
I would say just honestly, probably position value.
Yeah.
Being an off-ball linebacker, it's because Caleb Downs being at 5th, that has to be about as high as you'll see a safety go. And not saying it's wrong, but him and Downs are exceptionally talented. I think maybe just position value. You maybe knock him down a peg for that.
But that's the thing about Sonny Styles is that he can play virtually any position that you dream of. He is not locked into you have to play him as an off-ball linebacker. If you need to play him in the middle, play him in the middle. If you have a 3-4, you have a 4-3. If you want to move him back to safety, you could potentially do that. That's the craziest part to me is if anyone is just assigning positional value to Sonny Styles and not looking at the best overall athlete. And I know that there's a million different ways that the NFL does business and how they want to evaluate draft picks and where they want to invest their capital. You cannot miss with Sonny Styles. I'm just promising you. And if he slides out of the top 10, that would be shocking to me.
As I'm looking at I look at a lot of different drafts. I don't know.
You do 8 or 9 mock drafts?
I do a number of those as well. And I also let my dog do one, but that never really works out well. But
it's a little more complicated.
A lot more complicated there.
Hey, Tito.
Yes, sir.
Just a word of warning.
Yeah.
If he does lie into you, it's best to just let him finish.
That's fine. What movie's that one?
That would be Christmas Vacation.
That's right, Christmas Vacation. Yes.
It's not.
I look at these at the top 10 here that he had, and outside of Mendoza, I don't feel confident about any pick lining up yet. And I know we're month and a half out from the draft, and it just I look at it and there's so many different ways these teams can go because it's like you mentioned the positional thing there, Bodie, that there's some positions get valued less, but I agree with you about Sonny Styles. He's going to be a stud in the NFL. But the other guys, though, the 3, 4, 5 thing Ohio State players, that's awesome. And something I've never seen before either, Bodie, that I can remember. I can't see it happening, but it wouldn't shock me if it was. Like, there's so much uncertainty with this draft, as far as where it's going to go. Very talented. It'd be hard to screw up if you've got a top 11 pick. No offense, Dallas. If you have a top 11 pick, it would be hard to screw this up.
Well, the best way to avoid that is to just take someone from Ohio State.
That's fair.
I mean, that's the part of this time of year where everything is changing, and sometimes, like maybe the next mini mock will move Sonny Styles back up to number 4. Some of it, I think, is content and conversation, and the last source that you may have talked to. Like I'm not saying that this is done solely for attention or to get eyeballs on it, but a lot of the coverage coming out of the combine said Sonny Styles won the weekend. He was the most impressive player working out. He passed every interview opportunity with flying colors. Everyone is raving about Sonny Styles, and he hasn't done anything since then.
Well, maybe
he should have just kept working out again. Well, he would. Guess what?
Forrest Gump this thing.
In 9 days, Sonny Styles is going to work out again in the Woody Hayes Athletic Center, and 100 scouts and general managers and coaches and owners are going to be there, and I bet it's going to be pretty impressive.
Yeah, I would think you're right. The pro day thing coming up, it could change things there as well on that front. So out of those, you just said Bodie said he would stroke out if, and I think he's not really being serious there. Maybe he would. I don't know. I'm not sure about his health situation right now. But Styles, if Styles gets past Dallas at 11, so do you both feel like there'll be 4 Buckeyes in the top 11?
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think
I think so.
I think the mock drafts, the full mock drafts that have
not
really
these,
been
these mini ones. These mini ones are
when we're going to the full size and not the snack size.
Right.
The one that's really been driving me a little bit crazy, and I'm having a hard time understanding, is Caden McDonald falling out of the first round entirely. So much of the feedback, and I know again everything is subject to change. Everything is smokescreen, different information. I understand all that. Like repeatedly being told, Caden McDonald getting feedback. Matt Patricia, sending out the net for information to the NFL level. Where is Caden McDonald going to go? And everyone is saying the way he played, top 15, top 20 pick. If there had been any remote conversation about Caden McDonald falling to the second round, I feel pretty confident that he would be in the Woody right now and playing one more season with Ohio State. So I feel like their NFL is falling into a little bit of the same trap that Georgia did when they were recruiting or backing off the recruitment of Caden McDonald and looking at, well, he's just not tall enough, or he doesn't have the right, size, strength profile. Turn the tape on, man. That's all it takes with Caden McDonald. Or as Jeff Okuda would say, cut that tape back on.
Cut that tape back on. Is that English? Doesn't matter.
Yeah. Don't worry about it. That was one of my favorite combine moments there. But that's the one that I don't really understand, Tito, because I think that K-Mac is a first-rounder, should be a first-rounder, probably by this time next month will be one.
All right, coming up next, we'll hear what Jake Diebler had to say, and also we will pull the Ohio State chain that is currently being worn by Austin Ward. We'll do all that next. This is Morning Juice.
The madness is on and the deals are going full court at Germain Toyota of Columbus. Drive home the Powerhouse 2026 Tundra at 2.99% APR for up to 72 months and $1,000 Toyota financial cash. That's a slam dunk offer. Or you can drive home in the always reliable 2026 Camry LE for just $269 a month for 36 months, 10,000 miles a year, and $36.99 due at signing. Don't sit on the sidelines. Hustle into Germain Toyota of Columbus on the corner of I-70 and Bryce Road or online at germaintoyota.net. Raise your hand if you're excited about feeling older faster than you should. No takers? Yeah, I didn't think so. Ongoing pain makes you feel older than you are, but here's the good news. QC Kinetics patients right here in Columbus, they're getting relief right now, feeling younger and jumping back into life, full speed ahead, and that didn't happen in an operating room. My friend Dr. Ray Tesner and his team use the latest regenerative treatments backed by real science. Treatments that take the tiny, powerful healing tools inside your body, concentrate them right where you need the relief the most. This is how I was treated. I had a knee issue. I went in there. We had a consultation. I went through a series of treatments. And you know what? After a handful of months, my knee started feeling better and better until I was able to get out there and do the things I loved again. It's all true. It's all real. The sooner you get started, the sooner your inflammation eases and the sooner you'll start feeling better again. So find out if you're a candidate at your free consultation at qckinetics.com/Columbus or 380-208-4544.
Ms. Fernandez, what are those tiny things?
Those are what we call amoebas. You can only see them through a microscope.
Wow.
Today's students are tomorrow's great thinkers and innovators. But right now, there's a funding crisis in public schools. Millions of kids go to schools that don't have funding for books, computers, and so much more just because of where they live. You can help change that. Donors Choose is a nonprofit that lets you support students and teachers in your community and beyond. You choose which supplies to support. You could provide first graders with pencils and paper, or other students with their first chapter books, help a music class get a guitar.
You could even supply a classroom like mine with a science project. But what you're really giving is the moment that sparks a brighter tomorrow.
To learn more, please visit DonorsChoose.org. That's DonorsChoose.org. Choose students. Shape the future.
Wounded Warrior Project helps post 9/11 veterans and their families realize what's possible. With support and resources that bring warriors together and empower them to become stronger, both inside and out.
It's possible to begin healing, to get the help you need, to find peace.
And as each warrior's needs evolve, so do we. Because these last 20 years are just the beginning. Learn more at woundedwarriorproject.org/possible.
Attack and dominate. You're locked into Morning Juice.
Sponsored by Riverside Bank of Dublin.
Here's Bobby and Tito.
All right. It's Tito. It's Austin. It's Bodie. And yesterday, breaking news, if you haven't heard, Ohio State was announced as a team in the NCAA tournament this year.
They're back, baby.
They are back. Here is Jake Diebler talking about making the tournament. Almost 2 years of the day being named the head coach.
Yeah, listen, I think you guys know this about me. My faith is my foundation. And so I try not to get caught up too much on what's next, but just be in the moment and serve those people that are around me as well as I possibly can. And, that's what I did when I was interim coach. It's what we did all season last year. And it's what we've done this year. And I feel like I've gotten even better at it, since that last game you referenced in Minnesota. So it's really, this is about our players and how hard they've worked and in our program with the progress that we've made. And again, this season still is not, finished, and we got a final chapter to write. And I'm excited about, our guys, where their minds are at, where we're at health-wise, so we can write this last chapter well.
I am so happy for Jake Diebler. The only person I'm happier for than Jake Diebler is Bruce Thornton as far as getting to the tournament.
Yeah.
It's such a huge deal, and I know there was not any drama. The only drama was where would they be seated. I think most people thought to be 8 or 9, and as much as I hoped for 7 or 10, I didn't think it was realistic it was going to happen. But he sounds relieved. He sounds, there's a big task coming up ahead of him. He still sounds relaxed.
Well, this is a signature accomplishment for him, and it very much looked like it was slipping away from him a couple weeks ago. And you and I talked about it, Tito, during this run when Bobby was on the cruise, and it was on the heels of that Michigan State game, and really the only game of the year where there was 25, 30 minutes where it looked like Ohio State was completely disjointed, not playing together, not playing with the effort and intensity and urgency that we'd seen from them really in every single game, was that loss at Iowa. And it's like, okay, well, it's hard to see this now. They're running out of these opportunities. The bounce back that they had down the stretch, the win over Purdue, winning just in blowout fashion against Penn State, handling business against Indiana. That's a team that you can only really do that if you believe in your coach, if you're playing for him, you're listening to his message. And it's not just him. I think they also, Devin Royal and Junie Mobley and Christoph Tilly and all these guys wanted Bruce to get back to the tournament too. So I know that some of that stuff, the vibes, the mentality, sometimes people can think that's overrated. they had good players all along. I don't know that it's the most perfectly built roster that any of us have ever seen.
Right.
But that's also, I think, a reflection of Jake Diebler continuing to grow into this job. I think he's going to get better at it. I think the, NIL allocation and resources are all going to get better. But we don't have to talk about all that right now. We thought that Jake Diebler was going to get year 3 no matter what, that Ross Bjork and the Ohio State administration and athletic department believe in his relationship building skills. They believe in his recruitment. I think he's shown, really good ability to manage games, schematically, personnel, in the face of difficult scenarios when you were having the rotation roulette and different injuries popping up out of nowhere, sometimes right before games. I think that he managed all of that at a really high level. But now you don't have to even have that conversation. Should Jake Diebler get a third year? Is he on the hot seat going into year 3? No, he's doing the job that he was asked to do. I still think he's got opportunity to be better at it in the future, but we don't have to stress about that now or project it. I think that there is proof that he can do it now.
Diebler was asked what it meant for him when he saw the name Ohio State pop on the screen.
It was really exciting. This team has overcome a lot to get to this point, and not just get to this point, but to be playing our best ball late. And it's a blessing. It's a blessing. I'm so thankful for this group of men, both, our team and our staff that's been assembled, and, for their just resiliency all season that they've showed how hard they've worked. And, this is a payoff moment, but, we want to keep this momentum going. That was a big thing we talked about, today before we got together was, we're playing our best ball at the right time of the year. Let's keep it up.
They really are playing their best ball. It's also the healthiest they've been since the beginning of the season, maybe.
Well, yeah. I mean,
not even close, frankly.
Yeah.
I mean, even Noel played in the Big Ten tournament. That's the first he's played.
Yes.
I think this calendar year.
It is. Yes,
since January. Yeah, for sure. That's a big part of this. And you had the stretch where, you have a fluke injury and Mobley breaks, was the pinky finger, and breaks a bone in his hand. You had right before Michigan State, Devin Royal gets sick and the rotation changes. Then out of nowhere, you have another game where Tilly can't go. It's not a coincidence that when you are healthy and you have the full complement of players available, that they're going to play better. Now, you knock on wood if you're Jake Diebler, because all these things that popped up that we just mentioned, some of them were out of nowhere and you had to adjust on the fly. So you still have to get to Thursday morning and Thursday afternoon to make sure that you're fully healthy and nothing goes wrong on the practice court. So I don't want to jinx it for him, but these guys, and then an opportunity for Bruce Thornton to maybe have a couple days of rest, because he's going to have to go 40 minutes in every game, I think, for Ohio State to really have its best shot of winning on Thursday and then pulling an upset over Duke. We'll see what happens there. But the way that they responded to that, and Jake Diebler used the word resiliency there, it's clear. I mean, they were not dealt a favorable hand in a lot of these games. And that's not to say that they could have constructed a team that had more depth. Or, but even in that regard, you're seeing Gavin Cups come off the bench in a couple of these games and make some plays. You're seeing different scenarios play out where Ohio State is the best version of itself right now. And does that mean that they can get into the second weekend? I guess we'll see, but I give them a much better chance of it now than I did a couple weeks ago, for sure.
A couple of years ago in Ohio State's football team, the offensive line had all those injuries and forced them to play a lot of different combinations. Guys play different positions. Yeah. And it ended up being really beneficial to them in the long run, because you got a lot of guys who got experience that might not have gotten experience. And I wonder if this Ohio State basketball team, because of all the injuries they've had to endure, if it's kind of the same thing, where a lot of guys got to play minutes that maybe they wouldn't have or play as much of if the team was fully healthy. And I think the fact they're playing their best basketball right now, when they're at their healthiest, is not just a coincidence, because they've all had the opportunity to get out there and play some games and play in meaningful moments.
Well, and they're also going to play NCAA tournament games.
Yes.
Or at least one.
Yeah.
I think two. So if you're going to be able to keep this core group together now and bring back a Mobley and Royal and then a McDonald's All-American on the way, that experience is going to be something that's different. Like, Bruce Thornton's greatness is well known. It's in the record books. It's all over it for Ohio State. But, he was doing that without the, foundation of knowing what it's like to play in the big dance in a win or else scenario. that will be different now for this next core group. If we're talking about Jake Diebler building the foundation and then, raising the ceiling down the road, these guys haven't gone through the last couple weeks to earn their way into the tournament, and then seeing what it's like experiencing the NCAA tournament after that, I think will be significant for next year. It'll be meaningful for Jake Diebler, who's been part of obviously high pressure games in the past before, but there's the difference between theory and testimony and getting through it and knowing what it's actually like. And that'll be beneficial not just for the players, but I think also for their coach as you turn the page into next year. But we don't have to do that yet. They're still, this season is not over yet, but I would put it down in the category of a success either way.
Yep. Here is Diebler, one more from him on early thoughts on TCU, their opponent, on Thursday at 12:15. Our coverage starts at 11:15, I think. Here we go.
Yeah, really good team. We've started already diving into the numbers, and if you guys will let me get out of here at a decent time, I'll be able to get to work on some film. But good defense. Coach Dixon's been around a long time and won a lot of games. They had success in a good conference, and they've won a lot of games here down the stretch of the season. So we're again, this time of year, everybody's in this tournament for a reason, and you had to play well and be a really good team to get to this point. So we'll have more information. I think we're huddling up tomorrow, and we'll know more about that specifically. But I've caught them on TV, a couple times this season. Again, really good team, and we're excited, about just preparing like we've been preparing for the last few weeks, and keep that approach going.
I can't wait to see Thornton playing in the NCAA tournament. And just now the early game, and I hope they don't come out and start slowly. I hope they can get out going right away and get going with that, because I'd hate to see them have to bounce back from a slow start just because hopefully the moment's not too big for them. I don't think it will be. I think playing in something like the Big Ten tournament helps with
They did have the noon game.
Yeah.
Both of those days, yeah. I just realized as you were describing that scenario in an early start, slow start, if you happen to be in the West Coast on Thursday, a 9:15 a.m. start for basketball. I wonder what people who live out there, do they like it? They just get to go, if they've taken off work and got their doctor's note, do they love it that it really is an all-day proposition for them, tipping off that first game at 9 a.m.? I don't know that I appreciate that.
When I go out to Vegas, I love the sports schedule, the way stuff times up when there's 9 a.m. college football. Just because, and the last game is over, the last game starts at like 5:30 p.m. out there, whatever. Well, I mean, unless you're chasing, then you got Hawaii, you got to worry about that later on, which typically is the case, I guess. But I'm saying like the primetime game.
You don't know anything about that.
No, of course not. I'll tell you, though, I know more about Hawaii than I do about Penn State. So I love the sports schedule if I lived out west. Like, that'd be my one the weather, yeah, sure, be nice. No more snow, that kind of thing. But, I would move more than likely, more than anything else would be for the sports schedule.
I grew up in the Mountain Time Zone, God's time zone.
Yeah,
it's perfect for everything. My wife didn't love it that the game was at 10 a.m. I think she prefers the traditional noon kickoff, and there's just no way to make it start at the same time in every time zone. But when you have Monday Night Football, wouldn't it be great? Sunday Night Football, and those games are going at 6:15, 6:30. Oh, it's so much better.
Amazing.
It's great. Yeah, but start time doesn't really – I don't think it'll be that big of an impact for Ohio State on Thursday. It is interesting that they just got to start at noon and have those early games on Thursday and Friday in the Big Ten tournament, so that won't be unusual for them. But Bruce Thornton, I think, is going to show up ready to go no matter what time that game was going to tip. He's been waiting for this opportunity. He's been working for this opportunity for so long. And I think what has really impressed me, if we're just thinking about, well, is he going to push too hard? Is he going to try too hard because he's been waiting for this NCAA tournament? I think about the way he played, knowing the history that was on the line when he was going to go break the scoring record against Indiana on senior night. He seemed completely unfazed by that.
Yeah.
He didn't change his game. He didn't
force anything.
Didn't force anything on offense. It was going to come to him. And so I'd expect the same thing on Thursday as well. A lot of players get into that moment and they're going to be doing it for the first time and they're overwhelmed by it and they get out of their game. Bruce Thornton is so veteran, so mature. his approach has always been so steady. Start it whenever. Put as many stakes as you want on it. I think he's going to answer the challenge, and as you said, you're excited and happy for him. I think it's going to be very cool for the national audience. We know in Columbus and the Big Ten knows what Bruce Thornton can do as well. For people to be, if they're turning on their television, we got this first game going, this is first tip-off, and then they see Bruce Thornton, I think they're going to get a show.
One of the things, everyone's excited about the Ohio State basketball team, the men's basketball team making the dance for the first time in a while here now. One of the things we might take for granted is the fact that Ohio State women's team is always in the tournament. Yeah. And typically they're a top 4 seed in their region. That's why they're hosting. So Ohio State gets to host this week against Howard on Saturday morning, followed by Notre Dame. And then they'll probably play Notre Dame, I would think, on Saturday or on Monday, would be the next game for that one. And I know that the Ohio State women's team, it seems like every year they get to a point and then they go up against a really, really tough opponent. And it ends up ending their season. It's been sometimes in the second round, sometimes been in the Elite Eight, whatever it's been. But this team, what I love, they're consistent and they never have a dip year. You know what I mean? Like even like the worst year they've had in my recent memory for me has been losing in the second round of the NCAA tournament. That's a hell of an accomplishment. Yeah. Granted, UConn, UCLA, their schools, South Carolina, they're up there among the elite of the elite. Ohio State's not there yet, but they're on the next level.
Well, they've got one of the best offensive weapons in the entire country.
Yeah.
And what do you need to win games in March? You need someone that you can rely on to go get you double-digit points every time out. Like, how many games in a row is it now for Jelani Cambridge, Tito? Like, all of them.
Yeah,
like, she doesn't. Right. You just know that she's going to show up and give Ohio State what they need. I'll knock on wood for Kevin McGuff. I don't want to jinx it for him, but I don't know what would keep her from having a great tournament. It'll maybe come down to how many turnovers they can create, and if that defensive effort is there for Ohio State against Notre Dame on Monday, I assume. But this is one of the best consistent top 16, Sweet 16 programs in women's college basketball. They've done a great job of that. Someday, you hope that they can push it even further. Final Fours, NCAA championship.
Right.
We've seen that done in other sports, obviously, for Ohio State, but the level of consistent performance for them should not be taken for granted at all.
And I thought this year there might be a little bit concerned because they lost Cody McMahon, who was their leader, did a lot on the floor, and was all over the place. And the fact they lost her, and they might be a better team this year. They might really be a better team this year than it almost might be addition by subtraction, to quote Bodie Wells, no offense. But
with all due respect.
With all due respect, yes, with all due respect.
Say whatever you want.
Yes, they are a better team, though, I think, this year.
Convention.
Yes, they are a better team this year, though. And they still have that same McGuff style, 40 minutes of hell. They create a lot of turnovers. They come at you the entire game. And they've actually got some size this year, more size than usual, and they got probably more depth than usual as well. So that will be fun to watch. Coming up next, we'll do What's Got You Juice, Morning Juice.
I slept in a lot of different rooms, different beds, but none of them really felt like mine. I spent 14 years in foster care, mostly in group homes. And I never had much stuff because I always had to be ready to move. Why get things if you just have to let them go?
There are more than 100,000 children in foster care waiting to be adopted. The Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption is working to help find them a forever family and a permanent home of their own.
Now I have my own room with walls that tell my story. I love hanging out in here. I play dress up with my sisters and I sing and make videos. But the best part? Knowing I'll always have a place to go and a family that loves and supports me.
If you have room in your home or your heart, see how you can help at davethomasfoundation.org.
You served behind the desk.
You served in combat.
You did 4 years and got out.
You were drafted.
You gave 20 years.
You gave exactly what your country needed.
And so did you.
When you raised your hand and swore an oath to your country, when you put your name on a dotted line, you became part of only 1% of Americans who did the same. You are a veteran.
You are a veteran.
You are a veteran. Because no matter when, where, or how you served, you made a sacrifice for your country, and you deserve support.
If you're struggling with life after service, don't wait. Reach out.
Reach out to a loved one, to a fellow veteran, to VA.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
Around the world, Children International and friends like you are giving children in poverty a chance to grow and thrive, to be healthy, to succeed in school, and achieve great things. How do we do it? In the best way possible, by helping ensure access to healthcare, nutrition, and educational opportunities. And most importantly, by empowering youths and their families to get out of poverty and into employment through life skills, computer, and job training. The very tools they need to break the cycle of poverty and build futures full of promise. Because every child deserves a chance to realize their full and best potential. Learn more about how Children International is empowering children and families by going to children.org today. That's children.org.
Bobby is known as the General. Tito shops at Dollar General. This is Morning Juice.
Mike's off there, Bodie?
Yes, they were.
Good to hear. Can never really tell. By the way, folks, tomorrow, it's a Brody Tuesday.
Oh, woo!
Yeah, Highness is going to join us.
It's 420 somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know if he'll be in Vegas yet.
Oh, he's got to be. He's ready for the first four.
I know that he'll be, which is why we're not doing Thursday, because Thursday which usually said there's no way in hell I could do Thursday.
No,
it's just like because he will be in Vegas for maybe like a late Wednesday night there. I'm sure there's a meet and greet somewhere, meet up somewhere with people from the Highness world, and like I said, I got invited to go out there.
The Highness Cinematic Universe.
Yes. He's out here on National Championship night here in Columbus.
Oh yeah,
and I'm trying to find a place to get together where we can invite Juice listeners and your Highness fans out there, which are really one and the same usually. Like when somebody's a Juice fan and not a Highness fan, or a Highness fan and not a Juice fan, if that makes sense.
That Venn diagram just is completely.
Yes.
It's just a circle.
We're looking around where to go, what to do. But
clock's ticking, man.
I know it. Look, I know it is. I'm behind. Okay. Hell, I can't get my alarm to go off right in the morning. Let's tell people what's got us juiced.
What's got you juiced?
Sponsored by Newman Roofing. For all your roofing, gutter, or siding needs, call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
All right, it is a Monday, which means Bobby goes first, but we have no Bobby, so Austin goes first. And Austin, I've not let you talk about Ohio State football much, so in what's got you juiced, there's something Ohio State related, by all means, lay it on us.
Yeah, juiced that spring football is back. Well, it was temporarily. We have the acclimation practices in the books for Ohio State. They went Tuesday and Thursday. We had an hour viewing period of both of those days. It was awesome. I told you guys that I was fired up to be back out there. This is one of the most anticipated spring camps that I can recall, given all the new faces and all the both on the actual roster and the new guys that are on the coaching staff. So it was fun. It was challenging to keep up with everybody out there because even the returning players, some had new numbers. You were just scrambling. Most of those hours, it was almost like it was by design. Let's keep them really busy and keep them confused. Let's have Kenyatta Jackson wearing number 2, and then you see another 97 over there. It's like, nope, that's not him. But then you have spring break. So the Buckeyes are off this week. So we've got a little bit of a tease, like an appetizer last week. They'll be back next Tuesday. I think 3 practices next week and availability after all of them. So this has been it's lived up so far. I like the way when they do it this way, where you ease into it, then they have that little break. Last year, I think Ryan Day had structured it where it was all after spring break, and it was too compressed, I think, for the team itself. I like to spread out the coverage. It was great for me. But you had weeks with like 4 practices, and I think Ryan Day was trying to limit the reps after the length of that season in 2024. And then he got 1 week into it and he's like, this is not it. Because you need more meeting time. You need to be able to, it is more of a teach stretch. And if you have 6 weeks to do that instead of 4, it can be better. It can be more effective to do so. So that's I'm juiced that football is back. I'm also juiced that the spring break is back so that I can get out of town with the girls for a few days.
See, now my kids have got spring break also starting today. And we're not going anywhere. We're just going to hang out. And by the way, when I say we're not going, it means I always got to watch the kids all week. I'll have very little. I'll have very little. I'll be like Reimer. I will have very little interaction with my kids this week. No offense, Reimer.
The difficult part, not difficult because this decision was pretty easy for Allie and I, but Liberties and like the Dublin spring break is not till the end of March,
right?
And then into April. Like, well, that doesn't work for me. I can't go anywhere then. I wouldn't be able to spend any time with her. I'm going to have to be in the Woody every single day. So we don't really have any hesitation. This is when I'm off for work. We will pull her out of school right now. It's just 3rd grade.
Right.
She's going to be okay.
Yes.
So she's missing 3 days of school. Now, we also pulled her out of school a couple of weeks ago for my birthday when we went to Chicago. So
it's just too bad they made time off for the winter weather.
Yeah.
Well, wait.
That's the real thing. That's on the school.
That's on Mother Nature. See, that's on. You're right.
Because she missed that whole week.
Right. I know. Yeah. It's like college for her right now. It's extended spring break. Bodie, what's Slugs got to say?
Like that little green guy from SpongeBob SquarePants where he goes in there to SpongeBob's brain trying to find.
Listen, we don't watch SpongeBob at our house, Slugs.
He's trying to find the secret recipe for the Krabby Patty. I mean, it's just real talk.
That is real talk.
He's not wrong.
Breaking it down.
I would love to know how Schleggs landed on that. What was the analogy to?
Oh, to get to SpongeBob?
Get to SpongeBob,
Yeah.
which I love SpongeBob. SpongeBob was, I haven't watched it in a while, but it was fantastic back in the day. All right, guys, got a couple things for you here. Very juiced about the fact that the just mind-numbing head pain finally eased over the week.
All right.
So we're back, baby. Still a slight headache. Honestly, couldn't tell if that was from the after effects still wearing off or just lack of sleep last night because I couldn't fall asleep. Tito, that might have been the soft mattress or the art show.
Right, or maybe, I don't know.
Midnight art show.
Right, give it that too, yes.
But
the sweat sock I was wearing, what I was wearing all day out there playing football in.
Hey, I know I'm mad at you, but I love you. So that has me juiced to finally get feeling better there. What does not have me juiced is, I know we could say this a lot in Ohio, but we really are at about a 4 to 5 day stretch here of experiencing every season.
Yes.
It was windy, above all windy, on Friday and yesterday. It still felt pretty good, though, yesterday. It was 70 and sunny, and then it's supposed to be freezing tomorrow. It was pouring down rain today. But that has me sort of juiced, I guess, that it's mostly nice and not too cold. And then, of course, last but not least, excited to have the brackets. I'm not the Jacob Breimer of college basketball, but it's always fun when the tournament rolls around and weather starts feeling better. I'm off Friday, Tito. Maybe I'll just take Thursday off. Who knows?
Whoa, let's tap the brakes on this whole conversation right now. I'm not too sure if that's the right idea.
So I'll be chilling all day Thursday, Friday, watching the games and whatnot. Excited for that. And I think that's all I got for you. What has you?
What a nice
sir?
setup for you, Bodie. You get out. You don't even have to take
Thursday,
a day off
9
work on
a.m.,
Thursday. Yeah.
Nap. Tip off 12:15. Don't leave the couch until Friday night at 1 a.m. when those games
Perfect.
stop.
Yes. Let's see what's got me juiced. The weather thing. Yes, I saw. Yeah, the wind. So many trees in UA. I was driving around it. We've got a huge tree in our backyard that should fall over, but it has. It's huge. But if it does, maybe we'll get a new house. But the
big tree fall hard.
Yeah, big tree fall hard. Right. How many fingers got up? Huh?
Come on, Pepe.
Right.
You got to see that blitz.
The going around the neighborhood though, some of the huge trees, and people. Luckily, from what I saw, now I'm sure they did in some cases, but I didn't see like big ones fall on houses. A lot of the times they fell the other way, but there were some huge ones like just ripped out of the ground. I couldn't believe going through and seeing all of that. 29 degrees tomorrow for high. Not really juiced about that.
That's rough.
That's a wake-up call.
That is a wake-up call, yes.
Once you flip the clocks forward, I feel like that shouldn't be a thing.
You're right.
You got to get me to 40.
Yes.
Minimum
40,
of 40.
Yes, minimum of 40, yes. It'll be 20 degrees tonight. It'll be the low tonight, which is bone-chilling.
Bone chill.
Which, of course, a month and a half ago, we might have said, that's really warm.
Yeah, bring it on.
Yeah, let's do it. Shirtless. Yes.
We could do that
Speedo.
regardless. But
yes, right. I'm also juiced that I get to work my regular job from home. And so I also can have games on while I'm quote unquote working, watching all of this stuff on Thursday and Friday, getting a chance to check out all these games. I love doing this, but buddy, as much as you enjoy the brackets, I was thinking about 3 years, if I'm not mistaken, maybe 3 years from now, there will be a 68-team college ball playoff. So you can get excited about filling that one out too.
We'll be in it. They can't screw. Well, maybe they could.
As long as you're top 66 at the rankings, you're guaranteed a spot. Yes, you're guaranteed a spot.
I just feel like the top 2 independent schools.
Yeah, right. Top 2 no matter what.
At that point. Yeah.
Notre Dame, Connecticut started a big run here where they're getting in every year.
We'd be like Gonzaga.
Yes. What do you guys think? How big? Okay, so about the NCAA tournament going to maybe 76 very soon.
Gross.
Okay. Is it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me why it's gross.
Because Auburn went 500 and they would be in for sure.
Auburn with
to me,
16 losses would be in.
Like, I don't think, like, you can complain all you want about Miami, Ohio.
Yeah.
They lost 1 game.
Sure.
I don't care how bad your schedule is. They are in granted, the MAC isn't a power conference, but it's not
multi-bid
D2.
conference.
Yeah, it is. There you go. And it's just, there has to be, I mean, we were not we, the 3 of us, or necessarily this region of the country, but like there were people, you people,
yes,
suggesting that, how did Texas get left out in the college football playoff? I should say, switching sports. At least they went 9-3. Like they still won most of their games. What is that, 75%? If I'm not mistaken on that.
50, yep.
Going 500 and making the postseason, to me, is just absurd. I think it's just ridiculous. There has to be some sort of like, what are we doing here? And I don't know, maybe you go to 76 teams and can you add some sort of barometer that it's like you have to win X amount of games? But I don't think they're going to. I think it would just be, 76, and there's more bubble teams, and I just think it's ridiculous.
I guess I don't understand the big thing against it.
What
is it? Okay, if it's bad games, bad teams, you have to watch it.
But I think that, everyone's gonna watch it if it's on. It's not or they wouldn't be expanding. Like clearly, the broadcast partners will pay for it, and they know that gamblers will gamble on it.
Yes,
and people will be invested. They will watch it. But Bill Bender brought this up in hour number 1. Why did they keep adding more bowls? Because people watch it. But those games did not impact the national championship. That's my problem with it. When we're talking about the college football playoff and that number in an argument against Texas, in or out, at least the reason that people were suggesting that Texas should be in is that they had enough talent and more talent than James Madison to potentially go on a run and win the national championship. There's no world where any of these teams that we're talking about on the NCAA tournament bubble, Auburn, is going to go on a run and win the national championship. They're irrelevant to the national championship conversation. They've already proven that by going 16-15 or 17-16 or whatever the actual final record wound up being for them. You're watering down a great product. It's not adding anything of substance to the actual stakes of the championship. That's my problem with it.
Okay, but like you say that there's no way that's going to impact the national. Like Auburn's not going to impact the national championship. So then who cares? Like Auburn's not going to. Okay, if Auburn, I don't think Auburn or any of the other teams you're going to add, these 8 other teams you add, I don't believe any of those 8 teams will ever impact the national championship. So I'm not up in arms about it. It's like,
yeah, but like I think at some point though, I think you just have to step up and do what's healthiest for the sport. I mean, are you in favor of 45 teams making the college football playoff? Because people, no, if I'm not trying to sound like a jerk, but you say like, oh, people will watch.
Yeah.
People would. I'd probably be one of them.
Yeah.
Right.
But like at some point, like I think you just have to, Adam Silver could sit here right now and probably, a month from now when the regular season ends and the playoff starts, he could be like, well, look at how much money we're making. Rating. My headphones just like died.
That didn't sound good.
Is that just me or?
We'll keep talking. Yeah.
Okay. Ratings are up. And we'll have a great playoffs. And look, I mean, Jason Tatum's making $70 million a year. But so who cares about tanking? But like to me, like you try to fix tanking because it's just for the health of the league. Like it's not. I understand that Auburn probably isn't a national title contender, although you never know. Teams make the Final Four after being in the play-in, so it's like not impossible. But I think you would be taking a regular season that's already kind of meh and watering it down more. And I just don't think it's like healthy for the sport. Like there does become a line in the sand to be drawn of like, we have to do what's just, we have to do what's right. And all those people who are making the decisions care about is making money, and they will make more money with an expanded NCAA tournament. But just to me, at some point, you got to have some adults in the room step up and say, nah, man, like if you aren't a top 68 team, no thanks. And we're going to do what's best for the sport, at least to some sort of degree, and keep it at a limited, I use air quotes, saying limited number.
So if you're trying to get the best team to win the national, if you want the best teams winning the national championship, then you have a 16-team March Madness. Okay, they're not trying to identify the best team. They're trying to just have the hottest team. They want the team that gets the hottest in March.
The most entertaining tournament.
Right, most entertaining tournament.
Which is like fine, but like I don't think that's good for the sport. That's my thing.
But they've always done it that way. I mean, ever since it went to 48 and then to 54.
I think you can make an argument though right now, and like, look, 68 versus 76. It's not a huge difference,
right?
But like, I don't know where it's at, but at some point we have to draw the line in the sand. And my thing too is like, you could say now, who cares about 76? Well, they're just going to keep pushing that number then.
Yeah.
Because what's the difference between 76 and 80?
Right.
And then 80 becomes 88. And you're like, well, now we just went from 68 to 88.
Right.
Like, that's all they care about is making money. And so they'll just keep pushing it out.
I think it doesn't make it more compelling just to add these extra teams and extra games in, to me. And part of what, as you say, you're right, Tito, having 64 or 68, once they expanded it beyond 32 or 16, the goal was never to identify the most deserving champion of college basketball. What made it great, though, were everyone could fill out a bracket and you understood how it was going to work. And if you start having multiple rounds of buys and different configurations, I think you start seeing people be like, this is stupid.
Yeah.
I'm out. I'm projecting who this team is going to play over here. Even some of the first four, I think, has made that complicated. Do you play with someone who counts the first four games? Do you have to have your bracket in by Tuesday?
That's our thing, yes.
I mean, like, some of it has changed in that, and I'm not trying to be the old guy yelling at clouds, but that's what the foundation of the NCAA tournament and its broadcast deal was built on, was everyone having an investment when they didn't watch college basketball at all during the regular season. If that's not going to matter at all, even to their diehard fans, like if you told Jacob Reimer, well, now every team with a winning record gets in, does he care about every single regular season game the way that he does now? Like, it becomes almost totally irrelevant. They're all exhibition games.
I mean, before that Purdue game, we were saying Ohio State needs to win these games here.
Sure.
And like, it just, at least it meant something. That win over Purdue that Sunday afternoon was something.
Right.
I mean, if we're at 78 teams, they could have, it didn't even
Wouldn't have mattered. Just
stay above
500.
I know the regular season is kind of watered down to some aspect, but like there's one, I keep repeating myself here, but I think there's a line to be drawn of like, we can't go too far with this thing though.
Austin, enjoy vacation.
I will try my best.
Bodie, enjoy work with me the next 2 days where you take a day off.
I will.
All right. All the juicers, thank you. Thank you to Bill Bender. Thank you for 10 TV YouTube star Jacob Reimer joining us as well, folks. We're back tomorrow. It'll be me, David.